Sometimes I wonder how many times in my life I've told myself, starting tomorrow, I'll really start taking care of myself. I repeat this over my morning coffee, that fourth cup this week. Made more out of habit than need, I say it to myself when I put out my last cigarette, promising I won't light another. Sometimes it hits me when I come home from work and see people in the park running, laughing, looking like their lives are healthy and simple. I always envy that ease, that consistency. I wonder if their habits are really so different, or if they just hide their small weaknesses better. I'm not hard on myself, but I rarely know how to be truly kind to myself. Some days, I don't even want to think about it. Instead, I go through the motions, work, home, a to-do list, quick groceries, the news playing in the background, and suddenly I realize that all my self-care comes down to eating something warm and not falling asleep with my phone in my hand. Being good to myself always sounds so big, like a radical change, quitting my old habits, becoming a new version of myself, who arrives like a hero on stage. But the truth is simpler. And maybe harder. Sometimes, being kind to myself just means not criticizing myself for what I didn't do. Sometimes, it's letting myself have a bad day. Sometimes, it is letting go of the need to prove I am good enough to anyone, even myself. I have these small addictions I'm ashamed of: coffee at dawn, a cigarette after a hard day, scrolling the internet too long, just to not think. I know these things aren't good for me. I know my body and mind need more care. And yet there's a strange tenderness I feel toward these old habits, as if they're not flaws, but a piece of my story. Maybe being good to myself starts with that acceptance. Not with a revolution, but with tiny gestures of gentleness. Sometimes I look at people who really take care of themselves. They exercise. They don't drink coffee after 5 p.m. They know how to rest. They sleep peacefully. They seem to live in another world. But even they have their struggles, their moments of doubt, maybe even hidden weaknesses. I think being good to yourself doesn't have to be spectacular. It doesn't even have to be visible to others, maybe. It's enough to ask yourself every day, what do I really need today? And then try to give that to yourself, even for a moment, not because you deserve it, but simply because you exist. I don't know if I'll ever really learn how to do this. Maybe it's the hardest lesson of adulthood to let yourself off the hook, to be gentle with your own mistakes, to treat yourself like a friend, not an enemy. Maybe nobody really knows how to be good to themselves, but we all try in our own way. And maybe every attempt is proof that I'm starting to understand who I am to myself. How is it for you? If you've ever felt the same, leave any sign.